And when cost of living gets higher, they should be very sensible to limit their home appliances. You see somebody with 2 DVDs, 3 CD players, you know, they pile up all these appliances, paying huge energy cost. And Gambians don't conserve energy. They put lights on and they leave everything on. They go sit outside and the TV is playing.
And they hardly draw a line between needs and wants.
I mean, whatever they see on television, they will buy, and they don't need it. That's exactly the thin line you're saying. But our sanity has been drawn away from our reality because we watch too much TV. I mean, I like journalistic TV. I don't like amusement TV. I don't actually watch much of these, you know, artificial TV. I like reality TV. I like the TV to become a communication tool. Sometimes my friends would call it terrible vision.
Not necessarily, just necessarily an agenda-setting kind of...
It's not for amusement. TV is a journalist. It's a media formation to give you information and also to give you the visual support, which is you can see exactly
it should not cloud and poison your sense of judgment and mind.
And this what they call thinking method of absorbing whatever you see as real, and it start to interfere with your culture, start to interfere with your family life and your consumption, as well as your dressing. Of course, it will keep you away from your culture.
One day, cars will run on water. At Bank PHB, we're already thinking like that. Bank PHB. Good. Better. Bank PHB.
If you look at the media, the flow of information, global information for that matter, as many believe that television, the power of television to control and cloud and distort, I mean, whatever it is. But this is what you see on a constant basis, day in, day out. They are in your bedroom, in your living rooms. You would go to every other compound as a satellite dish.
I mean, it is classified as
the flow of information is largely one way. We are at the receiving end of it.
Information is sold. I live in Hollywood, in California, and I see that the major companies of the world are located there. And next door, the film industry. I mean, the TVs of today and the film industry is almost the same. If they cannot sell a movie, because there are a few cinemas now, they take news and incorporate it with their films. And when you watch the news for too long, you go out to watch that movie. You wonder how come I end up in the cinema house, because it's about finance. I've seen new movies called Wall Street movie.
Wall Street, yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie.
Absolutely. Currently, in fact,
now I see movies where they incorporate products that we use in. And at the end of the movie, you see sponsored by, you know, something gel or Palmolive or Dove soap. You know, the incorporating amusement against culture. Because the essence of television is simply like...
business and culture.
Yes. It's an attack to our generosity and our humble being of consumers of decent information. And decent information could be most appreciated when it's carried with visuals. We can see pictures of Mecca. We see how people pray in Mecca, you know. But when you switch to another channel, they show you things that you end up buying. And you see a famous pop star like Madonna saying, buy that drink, buy this chair. I mean, we should have a very responsible and cultural media network here that can feed Gambian people with rational and irrational.
Media from what what I can get from what you say is the media is kind of contaminating.
I mean, they seem to be carried away because you already, in this small country, we already have 3 types of journalists because you have the amusement journalists that only amuse people, and mostly they add foreign influence around this thing. You have journalistic media, people who report. A reporter is different from a journalist. These are just reporters on the scene. You have another journalist now who tempt the Gambians to go abroad and to achieve big money in football, to achieve big money in science, to achieve big money in sport. That is not the true story. Most countries that have their players playing in Europe or their pop stars active in Europe, these countries have what we call a syndicated network. They supply that country and this country supply them. Like the way Fiat Motor is selling motors in Spain.
So it's reciprocal business, huh?
It's a business. It is a business. And we should not voluntarily throw this, what they call, crumbs of information to our public. Gambians don't deserve crumbs of information. What we deserve is content, intellectual, cultural content that can feed the Gambians spiritually and emotionally so that they can be in line with their cultural dreams and perspectives, so that they can be in line in enhancing their own root, who they are. Who we are is the only product that sells outside the world in terms of music, in terms of art, in terms of tourism and trade, in terms of all areas of life. Who we are is the product, is the final product, and the only product.
Okay, if you when you find yourself at that level, at the level of the, okay, probably in Hollywood,
yes,
in Europe, and then they tell you where is little Gambia, nowhere to be seen. You deal with names in Africa, of course. The irony is that your own country absolutely is nowhere at that level.
Yes, my country, which I love so much, welcome here, you know, we do not have a long-term agenda in dealing with issues. That's why we almost went to the World Cup in the football where we just dropped. I mean, we cannot sustain success because we do not know how rival programs outside Africa are handled. How did they organize the World Cup in South Africa? Gambians may not know how to do that. How do you organize international festivals? Gambians may even don't know how to do that. I mean, to have an event is different than to have what they call a staging, a setting. Because an event like a naming ceremony is mostly the case when we organize events. It's just done in a ceremonial way. Everybody go home and that's the end of it.
There is a sense of anticipation as to what is supposed to be done, so everybody is pretty well informed.
You can even know that when they say next year there's going to be a festival, I can even know what's going to be there, who's going to be there, who's going to be the MC. I already know that.
Absolutely.
But we have to move away from that. We really have to have professional setting standards. And we have to understand how other people in other parts of the world are doing things so that we can link with them and carry on in the same motor. When I say motor, I mean the machinery. Because Gambians cannot isolate themselves doing things in their own Gambian way, when at the same time, we want to be part of the global community. So we have to think global all the time. Even though we have to act local, we still have to think global. In organizing events where Gambians must be known and must be seen, we have to have structural Gambian events of professional standard. When I say professional standard also, I mean a partnership with the global media, a strong media force like the CNN, like Radio France International, like Deutsche Welle, Radio Nederland. You know, we really have to have partnership when we do events in the Gambia that the whole world have to see it. Secondly, we have to manufacture merchandise. As we buy merchandise from other countries, like even from Senegal, we do buy merchandise as well. We also have to export merchandise, which means to say that we have to have the institutions and the structures. Actually, when I say the word institution, I don't mean building a huge campus. No, no, no. It's just a group of 4 or 5 people.
Absolutely.
For me, with 2 or 3 people, I can organize 4 major events in the Gambia in the period of the tourist season. Because I have experience in organizing events in